for you and the power you possess.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. I just post my art. I don't bog you down with political opinions or, hot takes or anything like that. Post my art about once or twice per week. I do this for fun. I'm not I work for a living. I do actual work. So just for fun, I do these YouTube videos and do my drawings. So I have a little comic book that I'm working on that I have on my social media platforms, and you can go look at it. It's free. So hey, I've also provided a link to the DC fan page for these two issues we're going to be looking at. So we're going to be looking at 107 and 108 of Wonder Woman, the second volume from 1996, written and drawn by the one and only John Byrne. I do have the start of his run with issue 101, so feel free to check him out. So his Wonder Woman run is underrated. And as you can see, the Demon, which is a Jack Kirby creation, makes his appearance here. And then here, in the shadow, we have the Phantom Stranger. So, we are in Gateway City. It's a made-up city. DC doesn't really use real cities, so they always use Metropolis and Gotham, Gateway City, Emerald City, what else? Keystone City. So they always have these made up cities. Just love, one of the things about John Byrne that I really enjoy is his, I don't know, just how he draws mundane and does it really well. So we have here our cast of characters. So we have Wonder Woman here, and then this little kid is Casey, who was introduced before. This is Mike Shore, and then this is Casey's mom, Helena. So kind of right now what they're doing is basically just going over what happened last issue. So Helena is all shocked, whereas Casey thinks that it was pretty cool. So again, it's just this page was sort of a recap. And she thought the Phantom Stranger was coming back, but instead it is the Demon, who is now under the spell of Morgan Le Fay. Great panel here, two-page spread, really. John Byrne is doing the pencils, the inks, and the writing. John Byrne is one of the best storytellers ever, and he is in the top 10. The top 10 is subjective on what you like, but he should be in everyone's top 10 because he is absolutely one of the best overall creators ever. So the Demon is attacking, but Wonder Woman moves Helena out of the way, and Mike starts shooting at him, but of course we all know that doesn't work. He takes the gun away and crushes it, and then punches him back. So everybody's sort of fighting the Demon. I love this ink slinger, John Byrne. He just is so loose with this brush. So this kid is the one that she was looking for. Because he thinks it's Wonder Woman. He doesn't know. So, and Wonder Woman says that she's the one. And then grabs her. And so we got as they're falling here, horizontal cover, but Wonder Woman fights back. I truly enjoy John Byrne's art. So, and she takes a whole car and wraps it around him. So she tells him that he's pinned, and um, or she thinks that he's pinned, but she says that she underestimates his power, and you can see he uses his hellish powers to remove the cars. Sometimes I wish I could do that to the cars, particularly cars that park in the driveway right but block the sidewalk. I never understood that. What if people were handicapped? I don't know. Sometimes I look at that and I'm like, man, I wish. But I digress. So Wonder Woman and the Demon keep fighting. A lot of action in this issue. We start off with a bit of a bang. So other people running. I love how he has a reverse silhouette. So here's a reporter by the hospital. And so they're saying that about Chris Lazarus, who was injured in his dad's labs. This is all from last issue. They're referencing the death of Superman here, who had happened earlier. A different title, so nothing that I've covered at this time. So, turn off the TV there. So this lady here by the name of Allison is saying it's not bad enough that Chris is lying there with almost no chance, but the considers the press vultures, and then this must be his parents saying, you know, it's stuff he's had to put up with since he became famous. Again, look at John Byrne. People now would probably not put this much detail, and I don't mean that he's drawing every speck of dust, but look at this. You can see clearly a really good scene here. Just sitting, I don't know. John Byrne gives you a complete picture, and that's quite admirable. Not very many people do that here. So this Allison is his ex-wife, and she's says famous. Yes, had he not become famous, he wouldn't have won custody, and her son would not have been placed in a situation that he could have been killed. This guy here says, which I think is the dad, don't lose faith, and she yells about faith and it being a fairy tale. So the doctor comes out and says that he's died on the operating table and there's nothing that he could have done. So good solemn moment. Very you can see how John Byrne captures the pain. So she's like, no, you have to do something, and she says, I can't, his injuries, there's nothing I can do. And then she slaps him saying murderer and punches him, which of course, and they're like, she runs away crying, and they're like, she was run to that. No, she wasn't. Chris is dead, and it is my fault. So, so the doctor's like, she's right. He's dead, and it's all his fault. So, back then, to the where Wonder Woman was, she asks who that yellow guy was, and she says Diana called him Etrigan, and it's from a hierarchy of demons. So she's gonna go after Wonder Woman because she says she may need her help, and she's running very look with a big smile. So she says to stay there in case a phantom stranger comes back and tell him what happened. And she leaves. She yells for her, but was not able to stop. She asks if the Mike is okay, and he says he thinks so. Asks where Diana is and that demon, and says that they're both gone and that now Casey has gone after them. And he wants to stop him, but he's feeling weak here. She wonders how she can find him because Wonder Woman can fly and that demon can jump. So, but then she sees this hellish coming out, so she figures that that's where they're at. So, and here the demon is still fighting Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman is quite powerful, and she's not about to surrender. So, and so the Phantom Stranger has appeared and tells Etrigan to return back to the form of man. He's got that Philosopher's Stone. I do have in throughout the videos, I have a 4-issue miniseries that Mad Wagner did featuring the demon. So check that out if you want to know a little bit more about the demon and the Philosopher's Stone and all that kind of stuff. So she asks what did he do, and she says in a moment things will become clear, and you can see that the demon is in pain and he's now returning to the true form of Jason Blood, or his human host I think is what he is. So he says he had to wait until she was actually attacked before he could act, because the forces they're dealing are ancient and cunning and know how to conceal their forms. So of course she explains the Philosopher's Stone, which is what can turn the demon back into Jason Blood, who's a demonologist. And so this is actually quite a very quick explanation of the demon here. It's a very quick, concise origin. And like I said, in the DC fan page, you can actually click on it. It'll tell you who all is in this issue. And if you click on their character bios, it'll give you their origins. So for brevity's sake, we'll just use this one. Many long centuries, the spirit of Etrigan has possessed the form of Jason Blood, though there is an older legend that tells of Merlin creating Blood as his vessel for his demonic servant. So Casey said, wow, that was so cool. So ask, questions about the demon. So here Jason Blood is coming too. And they're like, who is that guy? She doesn't know, of course, that it's Etrigan. She says, it's an innocent bystander, Jason Blood. And so she, of course, knows and says it's a great honor. So she says he wished circumstances were different. Real quick, I love how the old fat. So John Byrne came up during a time where comic books used a lot of marks, and so he still uses them. And if you look at his pants, you see these dashes, kind of like you would have in the olden days, because of course he came up through the 70s and 80s, and this is in the 90s, so we still haven't, but the styles have changed now, so a lot of people don't do this, but it's really cool to see. So, Phantom Stranger says this is confirmation of Morgan Le Fay, and of course Mike is like Le Fay as in King Arthur's Morgan Le Fay, and the Phantom Stranger says it is the same one. He says here that she's ancient, diabolical sorceress, gifted in the black magics, and she could rip the universe in half if she thought doing so would give her in 1 iota more power. So very selfish. So he says they need to summon the demon one more time, and of course Blood says yes, because the Philosopher's Stone has broken the enchantment and it would be safe to call Etrigan once more. Of course, she says, "You mean conjure up?" And Casey's like, "Cool, can we watch?" Phantom Stranger says, "No." So, and he says, "What must transpire is not for mortal eyes to see." He agrees and says he's ready. And so, they're gonna transform him, and of course, Morgan Le Fay is watching. She's like, "Yes, you do that." So, and so this is her henchman here. I forgot his name. I think it was Worley, I believe. So Worley offers help. He says, "Nah, don't do anything yet. Let the stranger think Etrigan is his to control. And then it'll be better off if Wonder Woman walks in freely and she thinks that she needs a different tool to suit their needs. Etrigan has already served his purpose, and here she has these other people." And so this is Orion, not Orion with an O, but Orion with an A, and he is a sorcerer. Again, you can look at the DC fan page, and if you want to see more or read more on his origin, you sure can. So, she tells him to be quiet, and now puts in her symbol on his forehead. So he's trying to resist his spell, but she says no one has the power. So says Orion is now a puppet to her will. And so Wonder Woman finally reaches the lair of Morgan Le Fay. So this is dedicated to someone that they knew named Giles, or Giles, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So we go now to 108. Great cover here, and it does look like maybe Morgan Le Fay does take some control of Wonder Woman, so we will see. And so we get a bit of a recap here. And here our heroes are walking into Morgan Le Fay's lair when the statues here come to life. So the demon says that Morgan Le Fay knows that they're here. So she, of course, has her powerful bracelets, so she's able to deflect. So, and so there's going to be more challenges because, of course, I keep wanting to say Orion. 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 They're almost... So if you hear me say Orion, I apologize. Anyway, so now Etrigan and is going to try and fight him, but he is not able to. So they all believed he was dead, but it's comic books. Nobody ever dies in comic books. So Wonder Woman noticed that he wears the same brand, and that the demon had of Morgan Le Fay. Phantom Stranger wonders if the Philosopher's Stone might be able to free him the way it freed the demon. Phantom Stranger says getting close might be troublesome. She grabs it and says, "Leave it to me." And of course, Wonder Woman flies off. So Orion thinks that's rather impressive, and her speed is great, but it's not faster than magic. She says that he's wasting energy on even though her speed is good. He says, "Are you quite sure?" And of course, he hits her with his power, and she you can see here she's dropping the Philosopher's Stone. and she is falling, and Orion catches her. She has the Philosopher's Stone now in her hand, and hits him in the forehead with it. So, um, so here he says that Morgan Le Fay's power is faded because they were able to free the demon and Orion. But of course, if you remember, the demon really was still under her spell. So he attacks. And there was a second brand in the back of his head. And so Orion also was not done. So between the two of them, they get our heroes. So if you remember, we're sort of back to that lab, and you can see here Chris, or you can't see Chris, but you can see someone calling out for Chris, and then all of a sudden Dad, and then he says, "Concentrate on my voice, follow my voice," and of course it says here, this is insane, Dr. Laris. This equipment was never meant for this kind of program. So it looks like the kid is inside this AI here. Great design. I mean, John Byrne does not skimp on details. Now, it is not like Geoff Darrow would have drawn every piece of cable and every thing here, but John Byrne still, what a artist he is. So she says, "Don't tell me what this thing can do, that he designed it, so he knows better than most what it can do." She tells him that the data required for what he's trying to do just isn't there. He says, "I don't need the data." So he is basically telling her that he knows what he's doing, and she's trying to stop him. He's saying he's being irrational, and of course you can see him getting very aggressive, and he apologizes. He tells her that she can go, and he says to please be careful, that they don't really understand the forces that are at work here. So real quick here, these are videotapes at that time. So all right, so Chris is probably inside this matrix thing here. So, and the dad's happy because his son is safe in there. And now we see Morgan Le Fay has everybody imprisoned here. So they're gonna put her there. I think she's gonna try to absorb everybody. So Wonder Woman asks what is it that she wants, what is the purpose, and he says for life, to restore her immortality. So she says, each one there serves a purpose. She's an immortal Amazon. The Phantom Stranger goes through uncounted years. The demon who lives, who's been alive since the fall of Camelot, Orion, who's was around when Atlantis sank 700 years ago. Vandal Savage, who's more than 50,000 years old, and this General Immortus, who's been alive for a long time here as well, because he's been alive for a very long time. So each one of them has a gift of immortality in a different way. She means to take that essence away from everyone and get it into her. They ask, what about them? And they go, well, you can live out the rest of your years. Each is in the prime of health except Immortus. So But of course, as they said, she doesn't care. Everybody there lived a long life, so she doesn't have any guilt. Tells Worley to begin, and so he does. Again, I have all these. I've collected the beginning of John Byrne's run from 101, so feel free to kind of, if you are confused or anything, you can listen to those. And so we go here, and she is grabbing everyone's powers, or immortality, is as she likes to say. So Wonder Woman is in a special place that was created just for her because she's also a trained warrior. So she's going to take away those martial talents that have eluded her so that she too can be a powerful warrior. Basically, an evil Wonder Woman. And so the two of them are going to go into a duel. But it looks like Morgan is I was gonna say gonna win, but besting her. So she demands she gives her skills. So she's saying she realizes each move adds to her arsenal, but she wants to try one thing that can perhaps stop her, but if she doesn't work, she may take it. So, and she quits fighting, and Morgan's not happy. She's like, fight, 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 and Wonder Woman does not. And Worley tries to tell her you're loosening her bonds, but it's too late, and Wonder Woman is out and punches her, and she was not able to take away everyone's immortality. As you can see here, she's turning into dust, and so Worley says he had done the spell to perfection. He says yes, but she had given up her immortality when she left Themyscira. So when LaFay tried to sap it from Wonder Woman, there was no immortality for her. And so everybody can free their bonds. Of course, Vandal Savage is quite a villain, so... And General Immortus has gotten away, so... And so they wonder if Morgan Le Fay truly is dead, and he says, yep, the living pestilence that was under his body is no longer there, so... And they're going to make sure they can get a proper incarceration for Worley here. And says, what of the demon? They ask what he'll do, and he says he's cursed to roam and never find a home. So... And now that the demon, if you can see here, he is talking more of his way, so they know that Morgan Le Fay is no longer in control. So, alright, so we get to the end of our issue. So, hope you enjoyed it. Wonder Woman 107 and 108 from 1996. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.